Hey guys, Tank here. Welcome to RC Talk. Here I am, mini me, working on the Winnebago, having fun, but really, here I am. This is the real me. So we already have a couple guys here with us, Troy and Paul.
Hey,
Hey guys,
hey,
Evening.
a new day has started, and Horizon Hobby might be bought out. We don't know. Let's jump all right to that subject right now and actually see.
oh, Horizon Hobbies isn't bought out; they're buying out.
Yeah. So I'm presenting this to everybody right now. So here we go. This is what everybody's been reading, that they bid and they're offering $19 million. The exact price, I'm not sure if that's true or what's going on, but this is kind of funny. You click here to read more and it brings you to another place that brings you back to this place. So it's kind of funny how this article is made up, but there's not much information on this. And this was posted last week, I believe. And then this one was posted on the 28th. HOBBICO asset up for auction. So it looks like uh, a hearing takes place Monday to approve the sale of the winning bid. So we're going to find out Monday what's happening here.
What are you afraid of might happen?
To tell you the truth, let me stop presenting, come back to the camera. To tell you the truth, now I was talking to Dave, buddy of mine, Radio Control Patrol, about that today. Me, I don't care. I don't care if HOBBICO is being bought out. It might be scary. It might be. I know another company is going to come out. Yes, if they go bankrupt. Yes, if uh, Axial go down, it's going to be sad. But another company is going to take over. GCM Racing is making trucks. Boom Racing is making some pretty good crawlers. RC Four Wheel Drive is still making some. There's a whole bunch of different companies that are coming out with new truck. HOBBICO has been digging and doing a lot of grabbing money and all that. I've been hearing good stories saying Horizon Hobby is more. They've been doing a good job in creating events. So if Horizon Hobby does take HOBBICO, a lot of people are saying great because now we're going to have more events. So there was the G6. Is it going to come back? Is not, like, we don't know because things are just hanging right now. But the hobby's there. Other people are going to pick it up. Other things is going to happen, and it's just going to evolve to something else. So do me as the tank or as Francois Small care about if Horizon Hobby and buys out HOBBICO? Not really. I'll just buy another RC to get my fix and have some fun. That's my 5 cents. What do you guys think?
Go ahead, Paul.
I pretty much agree. I think, we're all trying different RCs anyway, so it doesn't matter who we buy them from or what brand it is. It's just, there's always going to be a market out there.
Yep.
Right. I'm Horizon Hobbies. They've actually done sponsored events that I've been to with TBRC Wings through RC Flying.
Yep.
They're really good at it, and they're very supportive of that end of the hobby. So if they come around and they start doing this with uh, the RC cars and our genre, the crawling, then we're going to see some really good events hosted by them because that's one thing they are really good at. And if that happens, then great, and I'd be all for that. But if they don't, and let's just say that Axial's gone. Um, did you notice that that new RC four-wheel drive truck that they have, the one with the flame job?
Yeah.
That's a four-link system. So, and that's not a bad-looking platform.
Mm-hmm.
So they're doing that. You said GCM is they're going to come out with full kits.
Who's going to come out with full kits?
I was asking you if GCM was coming out with full kits.
Well, not ready to run right now. They're not. They are selling frames, transmission. You do have to buy your axle somewhere else, but you buy the guts from them. You do have to buy the bodies from other people. So you got to know a little bit what you're doing when you're ordering from there. It's not a ready to run kit, but it's a kit to do something custom, something that nobody else has.
Doesn't he sell the Jeep bodies that go on the skeleton?
I don't think so. No. I
I've
know
seen.
he was going to try to get some of the skeleton bodies and actually try to sell some a while back, but the Chinese people like want him to buy a whole those shipping containers,
Shipping container full, yeah.
buy the whole shipping container. So I think that fell through, but he is posting where to buy the bodies,
Okay.
and there's a lot of other companies out there that are making it. So is he going to come out with a ready to run? I don't think so. Chris is too small. It's a very small company that does very cool designs. So to do a ready to run, I don't think he will. Not for a while.
Well, I'm not worried about him doing a ready to run, but I mean if he came out with like a full kit where all you had to do was add your own electronics, I'd be on the waiting list.
Okay.
Um, I
Even though he tells you where the links are, you'd rather him ship everything to you already to assemble.
well, I want to support him because he's Canadian.
Yeah.
Um, and if I could get open up one box and it had the kit that I was going to build, like let's just say like a cross RC, okay, where I had a, the frame, the chassis, the suspension, the rims, the tires, because all his rims are really sweet.
Yeah.
So why not have that inside the kit? Um, his hubs are really great. So boom, throw those in the kit. So you see what I'm saying? Instead of buying like having 6 or 7 different boxes come at different times, I would absolutely save up and wait for a like a full box.
Okay. But that would make the kit very expensive if you buy it all in one shot. Um, like Capo Racing, they have those and they're friggin' expensive. Not everybody can buy that. But you when you buy it by piece, it's not that much of a heart attack. But at the end, you end up paying it. But like GCM's rims are very nice, very good quality, aluminum and all that. But you're paying almost $50 for one rim. Compare everybody else sells two rim for $50. So there's a big cost difference there. You end up paying twice as much for his rim, but his rims are quality is not the same. And unless you have one, you can't tell the difference. Like looking on the web and saying, "Why the heck should I pay more?" Once you have them in your hand and you actually assemble them, you understand why the cost is there because the quality is there. It's just crazy.
The last TTC we had up in our gypsum mines here last summer,
Yeah,
there was a bunch of guys that had skeletons, and it was just full on GCM, and it was just like you look at the Jeep and it looks like a normal Jeep, but it was crawling like crazy and it was amazing. And the rims, like there was 3 different guys there with them, and they all had different rims, and they were all from GCM. And what I like is they're all beadlocks, but they look like old-fashioned rims. You know, I love the fact that as opposed to yes, I'm running these right now. I don't like the beadlock look.
Okay.
I really like the RC four-wheel drive look because they look like a regular rim, but the beadlock is internal. So, but you know
Yeah,
what I mean.
just like these rims. These rims are from him. Like this is a GCM rim, and this thing is just like crazy. And there's the inside of it. Got a router that looks like a router, and this is a beadlock rim, and this is just nuts.
Yeah, well, that's all done with aircraft grade aluminum too, so that's like
Yeah.
high grade quality stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey,
So
we have Kagan with us.
Hey, Kagan.
Hey,
Guys?
hey, Kagan, did you hear the beginning of the conversation?
No, sorry. We're having a rainstorm right now. I had to do a router reset.
Oh yeah, yeah. I did the same thing just before getting on.
All right, well, we have to kick him off, Tank. He wasn't here in time.
Yeah. So you don't know what the heck we're talking about. So now we're gonna have to repeat everything for all the people that are. Oh
No, it's all
man.
good. It's all good. I'll catch up slowly.
No, I'm just toying with you. Basically, we were talking about Horizon Hobby, and for me, I don't. Uh, if Horizon Hobby buys Hobbico, great. It's going to be great. I think it's going to help the hobby a little bit. But having one big guy like that owning everything, it is scary. But like I mentioned, if Axial does not get bought out or another company does not get bought out, to me, I'm going to get my fix somewhere else. I'm going to buy another RC from somebody else. I don't care. If a company goes bankrupt, yes, I'll be sad. In a way, great, my truck might get value because now he's going to be one of a kind. But like, okay, like parts, there's a lot of people making parts for them. Like, anyways, to me, it's not a big deal. I think a lot of other manufacturers are kicking in. GCM's making kits. There's Asia Tees, Boom Racing. There's a whole bunch of different ones coming out with crawlers. So, do I care? A little bit, but I'm not going to lose sleep over it.
No,
What
it's a
about
good
you?
reason to diversify a little bit too. Get away from what you're used to.
True.
I just ordered a Marlin crawler. That'll be my first RC four-wheel drive truck.
You got one?
Yeah, I ordered it, and end of April I think is when they're going to be available again.
Tip your camera up. We're looking at your chin.
Sorry.
Yeah, we're looking at
the end of April I think is going to be the next time they're available. I have one on back order.
Very cool. That's my next truck. So
Yeah,
I
they
hate
look
you.
nice. Ordered a Mojave seat too to see if it'll work with it.
Yeah.
So they're actually back in stock now at Horizon Hobbies right now. The RTR Trailfinder 2, and I think maybe the kit.
Yeah, and Ethan, like Ethan said in the chat, even if a company is shut down, other people are making replacement parts right now in the market, and probably will be as long as there's a need for those parts. People are going to be making replacement parts for those. So, but like anybody has taken a Traxxas car or an RC four-wheel drive car and put a Traxxas axle on it, or taken an axial truck and put it on a Traxxas. Everybody has been doing Frankenstein RC for years, and they'll keep doing it.
True. That's how Scalar started, I believe, from what I can tell. People using Wheelie King axles and
Modding the old bruisers.
Modding the old bruisers, yeah.
That 3 Racing one we were talking about a month back.
Yeah, that that affordable 3 racing, yeah.
Yeah, did anybody get one of those here?
I did not. I forgot about it. I had some spare cash the other day, and I should have got one, but I forgot.
That I'm really interested to hear your guys' opinion on that. So I'm holding off. But
I'll take a peek at it. I haven't even looked at it yet.
I think Tony from CCXRC said he was going to buy one, but I haven't heard from him to see if he actually did.
I'll send him a message. Tell him to get on here.
Yeah.
So,
He's actually gone camping, so he might be listening to us at the campsite. I don't know.
So cheap entry models to the hobby are going to be there, especially if that's a good kit.
Yeah. And there's always Red Cat.
And there's that new Charisma Coyote. It's like a whole new manufacturer. I think Chris might have reviewed one with his daughter.
Yep. Yep.
Oh, is that the 60s truck?
Yeah.
Kind of black.
Yep.
Like there's a lot of companies that are coming up for BAT and actually coming and coming up to BAT to actually give a different flavor of the RCs. Is it good? Yes. Is it bad? Bad for the bigger guys because now they got to sharpen up their pencils. But I think like Axial, how many Axial SCX10 did they sell? They
milked it to death.
Yeah, they milked it and they sucked that thing dry until they actually came out with an SCX10 2. So it took years for them to actually, like, they made good money on that, I think.
I think their sales have to drop off so far, then they decide it's worth putting a new one out. Like Praxis also with the E-Revo, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but now they're doing the same thing with the 2.
True.
Which is my first Axial scale truck. It's the
Nice.
2.
Nice.
Get into the 1.
Yeah, they're dumping out bunches of. Well, at least they did put a cheaper option out with the plastic links and the honcho.
Okay.
And some people were lucking out and getting the hardened steel gears in it.
Yeah, I heard that. I haven't checked inside my case. I'm hoping, but I don't expect to see. That would be nice. Grab a magnet. I should check.
Breaking Silence is saying on the chat that Hobby King is having a big sale. Everything must go.
That's the fat cats in charge trying to put more money in their pocket before the sale.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, CCXRC is watching us right now. Hey, Tony, did you ever get that 3 racing car? He says, why change too much? Because that's evolution. Like, if a company can't survive or keep up with the market and keep up with people, they're going to go down. And that's what happened to HOBBICO.
Evolve or perish.
Yeah, people put too much money in their pocket and not enough where they needed to.
Right.
So now they're paying for it.
Yeah. There's lots of business
on that HOBBICO thing, the thing I was saying that we'll know Monday. There's a little line on there that says another company, Traxxas, is also filing for relief to get back money from HOBBICO for the money that HOBBICO owns it. So they're still going for that money that HOBBICO should pay them back. So even if it does get sold, maybe the guy that's actually buying the company is going to have to pay Traxxas because it's a debt that they owe. But if they go bankrupt, theoretically they don't. But
yeah, I know that if they sold it by a certain date, that all their debts would be absolved or whatever. But Traxxas is probably trying to fight that.
Yeah.
Well, when did Traxxas put in for that?
Oh, a long time ago.
How much did they lend them?
They didn't lend them.
For
They sued them.
Probably.
They sued them. Here's the article, and here's on another company, Traxxas. Decision will be made Monday, so that's. I guess we should have had this discussion next week. Well, it's going to give us something to talk about next week. That's what the fun part is.
Yeah, we'll guess for now.
Well, that way we can say we thought that was going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. I told you so. I told you so. Yeah, we're going to talk. We can talk. Grants RC says something about suspension. We can talk about suspension if you guys want to talk suspension. We can talk tires. I got a bunch of little tires here to show off to people, and a bunch of other stuff. So I'm open. And no, Tony. And who else wanted to talk about politics? We are not going to talk about politics. We are not going to talk about your President Bush that's in office right now. Oh, no, it's not Bush. It's the other guy.
Trump, right?
Bush was a long time ago. I know. I was just kidding. I'm Canadian. I'm not that stupid.
Don't tell the Americans that, man. They think we're all stupid. So did Tony say anything about getting that 3 racing vehicle?
No, he just...
No comment.
I can't see the chat.
No, he's in the chat. He says, why change too much? And then he went, ouch, when I talked about that Traxxas thing.
So avoiding the question.
Yeah.
I knew they were into drifting, 3 racing.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to check on 3 Racing website also. 3...
You saw that one that looked kind of like a truggy of a Toyota, but it had 4 headlights instead of 2.
Okay.
And you can get it the hard body, or you can go all the different levels of it, all the way down to like a Lexan.
Nice.
Oh, yeah?
You know which one I'm talking about, right?
Nope.
That's the 3 racing one. I know I saw a hard body that was out from Cross RC.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that's it. Cross.
Okay, that's it's got
Yeah,
the
it's from
interior.
Cross RC, yeah.
That looks like a really decent rig.
Oh yeah.
And the top of the line one that you can buy, actually, it has everything. Like, there's nothing else you'd want to put onto it.
Yeah, it's all metal parts and everything. Yeah.
All the metal parts. It's got a winch controller.
Wow.
Spare, hard body, interior lights. I mean, I think it even comes with an engine bay. I'm not sure about that, but I seen video of the thing running, and the way it looks when it's moving, it rides nice. It looks scale.
The Cross RC seems to be an interesting one. Aaron Medic there from RC Sparks has done the Bumblebeast as a Cross RC, and he just got they just painted him one spin tires truck and sent it to him recently. It's
Yeah,
nice Cross RC.
Yeah, that we're playing with all the wrap.
Yep.
Somebody's asking the top tire of 2018 so far. What I've seen so far is this guy.
I was gonna say that one.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is the Hustler MT from Boom Racing. This thing is nuts. It's got Geico. As soon as this thing gets wet, even now it's dirty, but as soon as I like play with it a little bit, the dust just falls off and it becomes sticky again. But these things grab dirt like crazy. They come in two different sizes, I think, or 3 different sizes. A little smaller than this, and they are coming out with a 2.2 version of this in the new year. And just to yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, didn't our friend from Asia Tees last week say that we might even see it in a smaller rim size too?
Yes, they're supposed to maybe come out in 1.55. Yeah.
That's a very nice tire.
So this is, like I was talking to some earlier offline, this is a 1.9 tire, but everybody calls it a 1.9 tire, but it's actually 1.9 rim. So this is a rim 1.9, but this is a 1.9 tire. This is also a 1.9 tire, or rim, but a tire also. So like, but they're completely different size. This is also a 1.9, which is almost the same size, but it's all the rim is the same all the time. So when you talk about 1.9 tires, it's not the tire, it's the rim. But they come in different sizes, different shapes. This is another 1.9, but it's a heck of a lot smaller, a little smaller. So there's a big variety of tires out there.
Yeah, like this is my 1.9, and this is my 1.55, and they're just
exactly they're exactly the same size, right?
Right.
The height.
The height's the same.
It's just a rim. So when you look at the two difference, there's more rubber in the center because the rim is actually smaller.
And this looks more scale.
Yeah. So when you're buying tires, one thing you got to look at is how big do I want my tires to be? And then, because this is a small tire, there's less rubber here to actually see. But one reason I got these tires here is because the original Tonka tires that I had on my Tonka build, these are the tires for the Tonka that were under it. And I wanted a tire that was exactly the same size. And these two tires, this is 3.66 inches and this is 3.6. So when I put it side by side, it's exactly the same height. So these tires are exactly the same. Yes, the width is not the same, but I don't care about that. What I cared about is that the look of the tire looked the same on my Winnebago.
Now, are you using closed cell foams in those or open cell?
Right now it's open. I'll see how it sits on it once I put it on with the cage and with everything inside.
Yep.
And if I have to put some closed cell foam into it, I will. But I'll get Chris another trick he's been doing. He prints a ring in here, the center ring that actually goes in the beadlock. He prints a new one, and it's actually thicker.
Okay.
So it covers it. Yeah, it covers 3/4 of it. So and then your foam, you cut the foam, and you only have a little bit of foam on top. So the tire is much. But the foam on here are pretty tough.
Yeah,
oh yeah, they're pretty. Like I got to press really hard on it and compress the suspension.
Foams.
So they're pretty good. The only time it's going to go flat is if I leave it in the same spot and leave it on the suspension. But 90% of my trucks I lift the suspension up. So.
Yep.
Are those tires vented?
Right now, no. These tires are not vented.
Oh, okay.
That'll help too.
Yeah. So what do you guys think about vented?
They're not vented.
No, I mean, what's your preference, vented or not?
Oh. I think
Me, it's not. What's yours?
I think mine are all vented.
Okay.
Yeah, I vent mine.
See, this one is not vented. So this is a GCM rim, and it's sealed. And when I push, it's as if I have air into this. And you can actually see it compresses out both ways as I press on it. But this is not vented at all. And these are not vented also, but they're not, the seal is not as good. But like a Traxxas one, you can hear it. These, and they're really squishy because you can squish them very easily. But those have actually holes in the rims, in the plastic rim.
I like non-vented just because of the way it actually rides.
Okay.
I'll put like maybe a small, if I want better grip and traction, I'll put a smaller foam in it, but I'll still keep it so it's not vented.
Yeah.
Just to get a little better footprint. And if I want, I don't have any of the rings that Chris makes.
Okay.
The 3D printed ones, which I'm sure help a lot with side hilling, but
yeah. I want to try something here. Hold on. It's going to be a first on RC Talk, and nobody else seen it yet.
I like vented tires as well.
Hold
And
on.
I found with the KLRs, I run KLRs, and I found they got a nice thick sidewall. And my rig used to weigh about 9.5, 10 pounds. I got it down to about 6 now. But even when it was heavy, I could run it on its side, and the tire never rolled or nothing.
Show me the tire you're talking about, Paul.
It's KLRs. I run a stiff foam in the back, full cell in the back, and I run a dual in the front, soft outer. Oops, I'm sorry about that.
It's a good setup.
Yep.
The axles are probably about the only thing original on this truck. But,
cool.
I mean, it's got nice grip. In the summer, I got a little spot, and I got plenty of videos of it on YouTube. It's about a 72 to 73 degree angle because we measured it. And the truck will crawl it winter or summer. It doesn't matter how hot the slate is or how cold it is.
Cool. I just subscribed to your channel for a bit there, just not that long ago. Seen that video you're talking about.
Yeah, and I run, I can't think of their name. I run their other ones on my big 1.6 Jeep. And I got the Rock Beasts that I tried. And I mean, I went over the same exact spot with the Rock Beast, and I couldn't even get halfway up with the Rock Beast as I did with the KLRs.
Okay. Kagan.
Yep.
What are you trying to show with your chainsaw and your tires?
Just showing some Hyrax tires, the tread
Hyrax?
patterns. I have the dual foams and these ones, the dual stage foams.
Okay.
They're barely. I was checking to see if they're vented. I don't believe they're vented.
Were you going to vent them with the chainsaw?
Yeah, right. Put some holes for the water to come out.
So here's the Winnebago. It's sitting on it right now. And it's not too squishy. But I did not cut the bottom, so the transmission's kind of in the way there. That's why it can't go in. But that's the look I'm going to be looking for. Is going to be
That's as scale as you can get.
Yeah, that's great.
So it should look pretty
I think
sweet.
you should send me those wheels, and I will hand paint them so they have with my pinstriping brushes, so it actually says Tonka on it like the original wheels.
Yeah. Yeah, like this.
Exactly like that. Yeah, send me your 4 wheels and one of those originals, and I'll paint it up for you.
Mm-hmm. You got to have the MR 970 on there.
Nice. It'll be the quietest Tonka that's ever rolled down a street.
Yeah. That should be sweet.
Definitely. Are you going to do a dual wheel in the back, or do you leave them singles?
I cannot do dual wheels because right now, as it sits, I don't have my thing in front, so it's kind of funny. My wheels, sometimes they go like this. You go, oh, that's not normal. As I sit right now, this truck is actually 7 3/4 inch wide, I think. Too many stuff on my desk. Yeah, 7 3/4, and that's the width of the Winnebago.
Okay.
So I cannot go any wider than that. And if I put a second wheel by the inside, it actually kind of hit on the leaf spring. There's not enough room.
I got you. Yeah, that's right. Those are the narrower axles too.
Yeah, and these are the narrow also. And these are narrower axle because we wanted the body, because this rig, this truck is going to be class 1 and also C01. So it's going to fit in the very scale truck class.
What's C0?
it's a new standard that they just came out with. I'm not sure of all the flaw bottom. I think the C0 is leaves, or you actually need a truss for your shocks. You need to have a truss. It needs to go up. Your shock has to be on a bridge. It can't be on the frame. There's a couple things that it needs. So, but I'll find out more about it, and I'll post the rules and things like that on my Facebook for people to look at. And Dave, I didn't ask you the question. What happens if HOBBICO gets bought out or does not get bought out? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, with any company, I mean, if somebody comes along with enough money to put you back in business, that's a good thing. I'm sure the employees that work there will be happy. They'll have a job again. They're not going to complain.
True.
And, you know, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, Horizon's been doing pretty well with the hobby for a while. I mean, aren't they very big in like the quads and stuff with Blade Company they own and all that?
Yeah, they are.
So they've done a lot of events. I think they were partly responsible for RCX that time when I went. And I think having a few more brands will just put them up there, you know, as a big wheel in the game. And I feel I've heard more from them than I did when HOBBICO was around. HOBBICO just had a lot of issues going on, it seemed like. But Horizon seems like they've always just been good folks to me. You know what I mean? Seems like they really like the hobby a lot.
Yeah. And Tony's in the house. Somebody said that in the chat. Tony's in the house.
There he is. Hey, Tony.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Am I on and working?
Yeah, you're on and working. I thought you went camping. What's going on?
I go tomorrow, so I'm only on for a short minute. It's my son's birthday tonight, so we just finished putting them to bed. So I missed some of the discussion. I caught little bits and pieces as I was seeing the alert and just checking in real quick. But thought I'd jump on for a little bit. I needed to get off my feet anyway and
cool.
Hear what you guys are talking about.
So,
did you order that three racing?
Did you order that 3 racing truck?
The 3 racing truck?
I remember a while back we talked about this truck. We talked about the 3 racing truck here.
Mm-hmm.
That was very cheap.
Oh yeah. I didn't order it.
Okay.
I spent all my extra money on monster trucks these days.
Me too. Well, on other things. But this one had magnet and Velcro. Looks like it was Velcro for the body.
Yeah.
But
I think I'm going to revisit my original Land Rover with some Velcro.
Okay.
Where I'd done the magnets before. See if that'd work better.
Good idea.
Yeah, that thing's pretty slick looking for the price.
They've got both on there, right? Magnets and Velcro? It's Velcro on a magnet, right?
And they have, looks like they have metal shocks. Defender, yeah.
So I should just buy that body to stick under that Defender.
Well, that's what I was waiting for. You said you're buying one, so I was waiting to hear what you had to say about it.
I said I was going to buy one?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Oh, I say a lot of things.
and somebody was asking.
Usually I do, though. That's the problem.
Yeah. And somebody
forgot about it.
Somebody was asking if these were scale stickers for the tires. Yes, they are. They actually come with the tires. And I put them on for the fun of it in some pictures. So I actually posted a picture of that on Facebook and also on Instagram.
Does the barcode work? I think it does, doesn't it?
I haven't checked it, but I think, yes, if I use my QR reader, it will bring me to the website.
Yep.
Nice. So not just a scale item, but a functional scale item.
Functional, yes.
Yeah. Well, now that I realize I'm not going to go with dualies at the back, I got 2 spare wheels. So it's either I buy 2 more for another truck or I have a spare tire for the back.
Yeah. Gotta have your spare.
Yeah, so I can do a mount and put a spare tire in the back of the Winnebago, just like the Winnebagos do.
Or
Sometimes they
tank,
put 'em
what
in
you
front,
could do,
too.
you could make a trailer that has those spare 2 tires on it, and you can pull
yeah.
another rig.
You're too smart. You're
That would
way
be
too
nice
smart.
too. Yes, indeed.
Yeah. So you can haul your SCX-10 or Trail Finder on it or something.
We got to have some. He has to have something to put his baby seat in.
True.
Yeah.
There's one of your scale UTVs would look pretty nice too.
Right now, the baby seat is being squished by the tire almost. There she is. Hi, honey. Where is the girl? I can't remember where my girl is.
She's in the Jeep. Oh no.
Oh yeah.
She's
She's in the truck.
pretty
You
sad.
got
I know
good money.
that. I might watch too many of your videos.
Shoot, this thing's only $163. I'm on the
That
RC
baby
Mart right
thing
now.
is not growing.
I'm over on RC Mart right now.
Yeah, it's pretty cheap.
Dang. I already got the body. Huh.
Those are the same wheels that I saw last month. That's why I thought you were buying one, because you said it and you're doing that look.
Yeah, and that's what you said last time. Wow. I'm going to go order one right now. Let's do a replay on the RC talk and let's find out.
Tail of the tape.
It's only got one review.
That's not a good sign.
Well, that's why I was waiting for you to get it so I could get your review.
And it's a question. It's not even a review.
Oh, yeah. So, Mike.
Does it say, Tony, what's wrong with this truck?
Pardon me?
Does it say, Tony, what's wrong with this truck?
No, it says, can you provide suggestions of the following requirements of this kit? Because he's planning to buy this kit, but he gave it 5 stars and he doesn't even have it. He's
just hoping I give it to him.
So somebody asked a question in the comments, Mike Gallia. So what will happen to Axial? ? That's a very good question, and nobody knows until Monday. Because Monday they're supposed to find out who won the bid to buy out the company.
Are there other bids that we don't know of, or that you guys know of?
Well, they're mentioning in a press release here that nobody else knows if there's another bidder that actually bid for it.
Yeah, they can put in silent bids too, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I'm sure Traxxas is going to try.
That's what I was going to say. How could they not try?
Yeah.
Well, they are trying to get their money that they were suing them for.
Yeah,
True.
well, the only way to get their money, buy the company back.
Yeah. Buy it and make money off it.
And take it apart. Like that's what a lot of people do. They buy big companies and they chop it up in parts and sell it and make money off of it.
Corporate raiders.
I think Traxxas would rather compete. They'd rather just take their money from them so they take a loss and then let them try to compete with them after that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think that the way Traxxas seems to work, they'd want to change everything to what theirs is, and it wouldn't make sense to buy.
Yep.
Just makes sense to start something new.
There you go. Yep.
Another
Or just do it
question.
under their brand, you know?
If they
Another
keep it,
question,
they'll
and
tell
we
us.
okay. We can do a round robin on this question, but John Martin is asking what suspension do you guys prefer on your rig? Let's start with Tony.
Stock.
Stock suspension.
I'm lame. I don't do much with my suspension at all.
Yeah, but which suspension do you prefer? You had the G-Made, you had the SCX-10, you have the Traxxas. Which?
Yeah, I prefer just spring oil-filled spring shocks
And links.
with in links. Yeah, I did not like the spring shocks. At least on the G-Made, I haven't done a TF2 yet, so that might change my mind. But
yeah, on the
you need the weight. I think if I wanted to do spring shocks, I'd probably need better weight on the truck.
Okay.
Because even the soft ones on it were too stiff. And I have a heavy body on it, and it still felt finally a little better, but it wasn't a great ride as far as the articulation and everything with it. So yeah, I mean, you can do so much tuning with the oil-filled shocks that I like that. I've just now done on my mud truck the inner spring shocks. I kind of like that too.
Okay.
That wasn't too bad. Saves having to deal with oil. Just get different softness of springs, I guess, and just stick them in there. They seem to work pretty good. But yeah, I'm mostly familiar though with oil filled. They're easy to work on. They're easy to adjust. I like the preload adjustments that you can do. So for what I do, I mainly bash. And even when I crawl, I'm more of a basher crawler than most people would like, probably.
Okay.
So I roll a lot.
We've all seen your videos.
Yeah. Okay, let's ask Troy. Troy, which suspension setup do you like?
Well, I kind of agree with Tony. I like to adjust my suspension. I'm going to be getting the Marlin Crawler, and I'm really looking forward to how that rides and how the challenge will be different just for riding in that. And I'm looking forward to that because it is different. So everything about that's going to change the way you drive and approach everything. But I do like my rig. It's the only rig I'm running right now. I had a Wraith, but I got rid of it. But this thing is all stock, except for a servo that I replaced because the other one broke.
It doesn't look stock at all, that's for sure.
Well, that's because it's got different rims and the body is
extended.
But it's an SCX-10 too. But this is completely stock. I haven't changed a thing. Still running the original shocks. I took the front shocks out and changed them to the back and swapped them around. And then I did a couple of mods. So I had, you can see here, the angle of my shock is tipping a little bit more towards the center. So when I'm going uphill, I actually have, it seems to have a little bit more bite. So when you get to that tipping point, where you're like, oh crap, now it's going to roll over. Well, now I can go a little bit steeper and it not roll over because just by setting that just a little bit of an angle. So the whole tunability of that with the shocks and I like that aspect because this with the shocks shot all the way up, so it looked like I was driving one of Tony's trucks, a monster truck. And
have you ever driven a Leaf truck?
I've driven a friend's Leaf truck, and I really liked it. I didn't get to drive it as long as I wanted to, but I do. My next truck is going to be the Marlin Crawler, and that's all Leaf.
Yeah, you'll find a big difference. Cool. Let's go with Paul. Paul, you're next up.
I like the oil-filled, and I prefer the Proline big bores, just because this rig right here, I got different bodies. If I switch to my other Bronco body, the weight of the truck will jump up to about 9 pounds because I've got all kinds of accessories with men and everything else. And this body I dropped down to 6 so I can adjust real easy with it. But with that said, I'm a huge lover of the Trail Finder too. There's just something about a spring suspension when I'm out running. I run it on the same terrain I run my oil-filled. But to watch it when it goes over and your normal oil-filled would sink down, this thing just floats across, because the springs hold it up. So I guess I'm a fan of both.
Cool. Thank you. Let's go with Kagan next. Kagan.
Yeah, all my shots so far have been oil-filled. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Marlin Crawler with the Leaf spring too. I typically like to mess with as much flex as possible. I don't know if it's really great for a totally scaled trail truck to have your excessive amounts of flex, but it's more fun with the oversized tires, I think, to have more flex.
Cool. Let's go with John. John, you made it tonight. Good. Nice to see you.
Hello. What's the question?
The question is, what kind of shock setup do you like, or suspension setup?
Well, it depends on the vehicle, but my experience has always been oil-filled shocks, and I stick a lot with the stock stuff. There's a couple that have upgraded. You know, go to an aluminum cap, or I've done a full stock change once on a slot. I've done a full upgrade on a slash 4x4, but you know, those Ultra Shocks, even though they're plastic bodies, plastic caps, they're not bad. And once you start upgrading stuff, then you got to spend a lot of time tuning. So they're surprisingly good out of the box. So you know, change your springs, change your oil, good to go.
But when you compare a leaf sprung to a 4-link suspension or a 3-link suspension, have you ever did you find a difference, or have you driven different trucks?
I've never had anything except for a traditional independent, fully independent suspension vehicle.
Okay, cool. Ethan, you're next up.
For me personally, the leaf sprung, like the trail finder, that works pretty good for me. I had this on 4-links for a while, but I think this truck is just more on the scale side, so I put it back to these leaf springs. But I can also go for a well set up 4-link in the rear. I had the 3-link, the axial 3-link that they had in the rear of the Dingo, but that really sucked because the ball joint would always wear out, then the axle would just flop all over the place. So that was kind of annoying, but I got it switched over to a 4-link now, and that's really nice. So as long as you have the link suspension set up with the right spring rate, and I like kind of a lighter oil, I kind of like the body roll like a real truck. I'm really kind of a more looks guy and the scale realism before performance. I've never really been completely performance oriented, so that's kind of my views on it.
Okay, cool.
Good looking truck, Ethan.
I like your truck now that's got the flatbed. I really like that look.
Yeah, I really like it too. I got some work to finish up on this. I have some aluminum LED holders that are going to go inside of the bed here, but I haven't got those done yet. And I'm also planning on sealing up these sides, but I just threw this bed on here for a video one day, and I haven't really taken it back apart yet.
Cool. And Dave, you still around?
Yeah, I'm here.
You're next up. What's your best suspension setup that you like?
For me, I've driven Leaf. I've driven 4-link with the 3 in the front with Panhard. I mean, I like the oil sprung setup with the links because that's what I've ran the most and had the most fun with. But I also think that the leaf springs are great for what they are. I mean, for the type of build that you might be doing, it looks more authentic on some stuff, and it's a different type of handling. So, I mean, if you're looking for a challenge and you've been running linked and, you know, sprung shocks all the time, then getting a leaf suspension would give you another world to experience in the RC genre.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's always a good thing, is having variety.
Mm-hmm.
But I like 4-link front and back best.
Cool.
With oil, with springs.
Yeah. And now last, I'll go. Okay. Come on, you. My mouse is acting up. Okay. So let's think about this. No, I'm just kidding. I have pretty much a whole variety of trucks here. I have a leaf suspension. I have 4-link, 3-link, and I also have a 4-link set up with droop suspension. For people that don't know what droop is, basically you would have your shock and you physically take the springs off of it, and now you have a droop setup. So this is droop. So and on top of that, you have an internal spring. So when you're crawling and there's nothing underneath your wheel actually drops. That's what droop is. You have no shock, but it's actually internal, actually pushing out on the shaft all the time. That setup, I love the best. But it all depends where you're crawling or what you're doing also. So this is the truck that I basically have the droop setup on.
Okay.
So to me, when I pick it up, it doesn't do anything. And when I push it, it's nice and solid. It doesn't go anywhere. But if I push on it, it will articulate. If I bring it down, it does go down. I do have articulation. So like you can see the back wheel, it does flex a little bit. But it's all because the suspension will drop down. And to me, this setup gave me the best performance. My son crawls with this all the time, and he does awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Four link with droop when you're crawling is awesome. Trail riding, I would use my Leaf, my TF2 on Leafs. But rock crawling, I really love this setup. It's really neat.
Seems to stay low to the ground and stick to the ground good when you
Yeah,
runs
it sticks to the ground when you do side hilling. It doesn't want to tip over. It's crazy. It's neat how it performs. And until you actually drive something that has droop setup, you won't know how it actually drives. It's kind of cool.
Droop is fun.
Yeah.
Cage work looks nice on that, Frank.
Yeah, went over at GCM and we got that done a while back.
Nice.
So
I
was
droop,
debating of closing it, but I decided not to. So
Yeah, it's nice to have the option.
yeah.
So
We also,
can you
yeah.
take stock shocks from an axial S610 and run an internal spring in that and run a droop setup with that, or do you have to buy a different shock?
No, I actually took a SCX10 shock. I wonder if I have one here.
I think people are taking springs from Big Pens or something and using.
Yep.
Yeah, you can Google it, but basically, it look. I have an SCX10 shock, and that's what's on here. I wonder if I can flip it over. My night's awfully dark. Now you won't be able to see. What's on here is actually SCX10 shocks, the one that came with the kit. So, and what I done, Chris got that for me, and he got me a company that sells those little springs. But to tell you the truth, it looked like a spring from a big pen. You know those pen that you push on it, and you have that little spring on the bottom?
Yep. Okay.
It's to me it was that shock. So how to do a one of those shock is you take it off, take your spring off, and then you got to take your shock apart, and then there's always that little clip at the end of this thing. Take the clip off, put your spring, put the clip back on. So your spring will pull the shaft in. It's very easy to try. Find 4 pens, put it on your truck, take your shocks off, and you'll have droop setup. Some people run it with the spring. Some people run it without the spring. What I like about the spring, it actually pulls your axle up. If you do not have a spring, it's just going to be free. You can have oil, like this has oil, so it's slow, but it will not pull your axle back up. This is awesome because if there's a crevice, and there's not much twist, my wheel will not fall down. But if the front twists a little bit, it would follow. So it's kind of cool because it kind of actually rides the wave. It's really neat how it works.
Very cool. I've taken the pistons out of these shocks, and I've drilled another hole into the piston when I changed the oil. And I found that when I switched to a 20 weight Harley Davidson oil, it just rides so much smoother. And I'm not sure if that's because of the oil or the actual extra hole in the piston.
Okay.
I have one of those shocks the way you're talking about, Tank.
What's that?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, if you look right here, this is how I did mine. The pin spring, just stick it on there. And then when you put that back in there, it pulls it back.
Gotcha.
And if you use thick diff fluid or shock oil, it'll kind of give you a little more dampening. So works pretty good. Keeps the wheel from staying in the hole by pulling it back up.
Put your hands up a little higher because all the thumbnails are hiding what you're doing. More in the center of the screen, sorry.
Oh,
Yeah.
Can you see it now?
No, you're still too low. The thumbnails are hiding it. Go farther, deeper.
Forward.
Yeah, now you can see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
See how it pulls it back up, and
So what
just
kind of
simple.
spring did you actually use right now for that? Just to,
I just took this out of a pen just to show you guys.
okay.
Oh, right on.
And it was one of these pens. I just took the clip out the top of it.
Yep.
They ride on the ink tube.
Yep.
Just
So
find them. Make sure to buy the same type of pen because they do have different tensions on some pens.
Yeah.
Good.
yeah, and some people are saying here that they like the 1940s truck. True, there's a lot of people that likes different body or different truck, and this is what this hobby is fun, is that you can take the same chassis but put a different type of body on it, and there's so many bodies out there that makes the truck your own. And in this hobby, it's making your own, putting all your little gadgets on it and making your own. Like my son, we put a little penguin here. There's a little alien. So he's got his shovel. He's got his chain here. What I've done to hold this chain, it's a metal chain for his tow rope, but it's actually got magnets underneath the body. So when he takes his chain out, the only thing he does, he just drops it there and everything stays there. Like it won't go anywhere because the magnets are actually holding it.
Hey, Tank, I think you still have Dave presenting.
Oh, yeah. I'm screwed up. There we go. So there's his little penguin, his little alien, and here's the chain. So my body is being held by magnets, front and rear. I got lots of magnets, and this is a metal chain that he uses for its tow rope. So when he's finished with it, the only thing he does is just drops it right in there, and see, it just sticks. And when you flip the truck over, nothing flips over.
Mm-hmm.
So
The toolbox I used to have in my trail finder before I switched over to this flatbed, I had magnets in the toolbox so the lid wouldn't come open, but I used to store chain and tow ropes in there all the time.
oh yeah, yeah, it's a good idea.
I like that, Ethan. Just you're talking about the hobby and different things you can do. I mean, like, perfect example. Ethan has his Toyota right there, and it's a flatbed.
Yep.
And then I took mine and made it a long bed. So, and put a cap on it. There's nothing you can't do with this. It's just the only thing stopping you from doing something is whatever you can think of. And there's no wrong or right way to do it. It's just everybody's got their own methods.
Trial and error. Yeah.
Great.
Yep.
And if you need help, then there's thousands of people that you can just ask and you'll get the help.
I feel like I hear even more nowadays, just people online telling people they're doing things wrong in the hobby, sometimes even in the YouTube comments section. But really, I think as long as whatever you're doing is making you happy in the hobby, you're doing it the right way, because it's a hobby. It's your truck. Do it how you like it.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely.
There's some people that like their trucks going 60 miles an hour, and then there's me that likes my truck to barely reach walking speed sometimes, you know?
Yep. Here's a good example of how big the tires can be. Like, these 1.9s are friggin' huge. Like, there's a big difference. The tire almost fits under the Jeep. It's ridiculous. It's funny.
Yeah, that definitely doesn't look scale.
Yeah, well, with this tire, well, it would be kind of neat having the Jeep with this tire, but I'd have to lower it. Last year, I actually got a little higher, and the way I did this was by, at the end of my shocks, I won't be able to show it with this, but I'll show it with this. At the end of the shock, you actually have these guys, a little rod end.
Rod end.
So what I did for the Jeep, because it was always sitting too low, I put a longer rod end. So my rod end is not twice as long, but almost. And then I put a stopper for the shock to actually stop and hit the stopper. So that really helped me on my ride height, because last year I was running this truck and basically the tire was almost touching the rim. So it was always too low, and I was always bottom out. So now it's a heck of a lot better. It performs really neat.
That little event
tank.
had Chris there, and your son was driving that Jeep.
Yeah.
As soon as you went through the barn and then into the woods and you were going up that little hill to the left,
Yep.
I saw that it was riding lower then. So is that you had it set up that way
Yes.
when you were driving? Okay. And
Yeah,
this
I just made these changes just after the season was over. I did a couple changes, so it should perform, and it will perform, because I actually took it out a couple times, and my son didn't notice. He doesn't care. He just says, "Daddy, put a battery in it and go."
I have what you're talking about done on my truck tank. I put longer rod ends on these shocks because it felt too short and the rear end was sagging on here. So you guys can see that.
Okay.
Oh, I like how you put those rod ends on too,
Yeah,
because
the curved ones.
it kicks it in a little closer to the.
Yeah, it straightened it out and raised it at the same time. So really, it helped with the stiffness too. And I put in that extra leaf there. I don't know if I really need that, but it helped.
Cool.
When you load up the flatbed, it'll help a lot.
Yeah. We have a question from Mike. Are you guys running 1.9s on your TF2? And will they work with the shock suspension 1.9s?
I have run 1.9 tires on here. If you look at my channel, I have tires on here that look like an old Russian military truck tire.
Okay.
Or even I've had my 1.9 flat iron tires on here. And I haven't really had any issues with the tires being too large for the suspension. You might get a little bit of tire rub on the front end of the body, but now that I've trimmed it up to the grill, like I have here, you can see the body now that I've trimmed it. I don't think you'd really have too much clearance issue. I just simply went back to these 1.55s because we just got done with the snow season, and I like to plow with this truck. And I also think these tires look pretty good on here, so that's the only reason I have them on there. But if you're going for performance, I think the 1.9s are a decent size tire for these trucks, especially at that around the 4-inch mark.
The ones I'm running on here are 1.9 Super Swampers, but these are on a big beadlock. But when I'm not running in slush and snow like we have right now, then I switch them out for these ones. So
Okay.
that's what's on it now, and that's what I normally run on. So I like the 1.55 better than the 1.9. And I think it looks better underneath the Toyota body too.
Okay. Well, to me, a 1.5, it comes back to tire size and all that. This is my TF2, and I'm running 1.55 on there, and these are the one that came with it. So now it's nice. Rust is starting, or there's a lot of rust on it. I've been running it for a few years now. And these are basically 1.9s. But if I take my new 1.9s rim, they're exactly the same size. So if I run a 1.9 rim on my TF2 right now with these tires, is it going to change anything on the suspension? No, because they're exactly the same height. But the rim, if you look at the rim is bigger. It's just a different look. But yes, there's a lot of different size of tires that you can run on this that's really going to fill that wheel well. But would I like that? Me? No. It looks like a monster truck now. So if I go like this.
Yep, looks like she's going through the rocks.
It looks badass, but no, I don't like it.
Mhm.
And with that said,
That's
Frank,
something
there's
Tony
mine.
would do, I think.
I did that as well with mine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I run the 1.9 Rock Beasts. I have no problems with clearance.
Okay, but those rock beasts, how tall are they?
Let me.
The outer diameter.
They are about 10 centimeters, which is about 4¼ inches.
Yeah, see, I'm running, mine are about a little under 9 centimeters. So those are pretty small tires, which is nice. My other one, we're running almost 11 centimeters for the other 1.9. So there's a big difference.
We could always go with something like this.
Yep, true. Or I could, here's a tire. Could put this on the truck. That's a Traxxas short course truck tire for the E-Revo.
In scale.
Well, these are 1.9s as well. I mean, it's a big difference between even the Rock Beast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there is.
These are just,
also excesses.
yeah, they're in about 3.5.
What do you guys think about the tire sizes that are being put up for sale right now these days in the hobby? Because personally, I feel like a lot of the tire sizes are just getting so large, it's becoming difficult to find scale tires to pick out for my trucks that are a reasonable size.
True, there's a lot of tires out there in the market, and people are trying to find a tire that's going to be more performing and all that. But a lot of people I find nowadays are looking more for the scale look. So therefore, they're smaller tires. But the problem is they don't look at the size of the tire. They just go, okay, 1.9 or 2.2s, or it doesn't matter. You can get a 1.5 that's bigger than a 1.9. So just be careful out there, guys, when you're ordering your tire. Yes, the rim counts, but measure or look at the spec for the tire height. And do yourself a circle. Take a cardboard and look how it looks before you order it. So many times I see guys order tires and then they say, oh, it's too small for this, or it's way too big. And then they spend $50 for what? For nothing, and then they got to try selling it. But just be careful. Measure once and buy once. Measure twice, buy once.
When it comes to the smaller tires, isn't RC four-wheel drive, they have a wide variety of the scale size small tires, don't they? Like Proline, you can't even find anything under 4.19 with them. But RC four-wheel drive has a lot of scale tires and small size. Even in 1.9, they have small diameter tires, don't they?
Yeah, but you got to be careful. Some of the RC four-wheel drive tires, like I picked some up the other day. Hold on, I'll look for it.
Well, guys, I got to head out. I got company coming from out of town tomorrow, so thanks and have a good night.
Yes, indeed. Take
All
it
right,
easy.
good night.
Have a good night.
Thank you. See you later. I can't find them. Too much stuff. But tire size, it's yeah, a 1.9 would work on these. A 2.2 would work also. There's 2.2s that are different, smaller tires. So just be careful what you buy. Mike says he got a 1.9 Proline BF Goodrich tire. Yeah, those are the BF Goodrich, just because the name and all that, they look scale. Is that what you're showing, Kagan?
Yeah, these are BF Goodrich all terrains. The
Okay.
TAs.
Those
KO3.
are 1.9?
Yep.
Okay.
They're a 4.35 inch tire.
4.35? That's not bad. See, I think
Run
that
those yet?
No, I haven't had a chance to.
I ran
the
them.
plastic rims and the aluminum ones.
I ran them on my sketch box for about 2 or 3 months, and they did pretty good. I think they are one of those tires that looks more scale than its performance. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
But it's a scale looking tire. It looks nice.
It's got a tight tread pattern. And
Yeah, it does. It really didn't do me well in muddy situations. Well,
right.
yeah, kind of caked up real bad.
How did it work outside the mud, though?
They did handle on, I mean, I drive pretty well. So on the rocks, they were great. Wet rocks, I had not much. I thought I would have more problems, but on wet, it wasn't even that bad because I crawled near a creek as well. So we got wet and went back on the rocks. And they lasted, they did good enough for me to keep them on for a while, but I just took them off after I tested them out and went back with my Super Swampers. I'm a fan of the Super Swampers. I have the smaller ones, but I still like them. I just love them.
Yeah, the big ones are huge.
Oh yeah, the other one's some of the biggest 1.9s you can get almost.
Yep.
Yeah, I swapped those onto my dad's Honcho because the wheelbase on that thing just made it feel like it was always dragging on everything, and I'm starting to really like those tires.
Which one?
Mike says he lives in the desert, so he hasn't seen mud in a bit.
I have the 1.9 Vitera Super Swampers on there.
Oh,
they came off my Ascender, but I haven't even finished the truck yet. So
yeah, that pattern is nice to me. It works good.
I find a lot of tires work really good until it gets wet out, like these Mud Thrasher tires on my Trail Finder here. I really like those tires, and they look scale to the tires that you see on trucks in my area. Just once they get wet, it's really hard to get them to clean out.
Okay.
Are those the Mud Thrashers from RC 4-wheel drive?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a set of those.
Yeah, we end up having a whole bunch of different sets of tires for different surfaces and different terrain. That's what I see a lot of posts sometime on Facebook. What is the best tire so far? Well, it all depends. What kind of riding do you do? Is it always wet? Are you always driving in a swamp? Are you just going to do trail riding? Are you going to be rock crawling? That question is a loaded question that can be answered by a lot of questions. So it could be a lot of different tires.
Right?
Pardon me?
Also, how fast you like to drive. There is no best tire. It's what's the best tire for you. And I'm sorry to say, if people ask me that, I say, well, that's something you're going to have to figure out. I can tell you what I like, and you can see the way I drive, and then make it. And if you drive like me, then try the tire I'm using. But if anything else, you're going to have to, figure that out.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm glad there's so much variety, Yeah. That's why I love the new products coming out and more stuff being made, because there's so many different things people want to do. It should be able to be done, It shouldn't be one way or no way,
Yeah.
And then you got the exact same tire pattern cut on 3 different compounds.
True.
So you can get a tire that looks the way you like it, but this one works great on the rocks. This one works great in the sand. This one's good on the trail,
Yep.
And they all look the same. So there's too many options to make it a simple question to answer.
Yep.
Yep.
It's like what the tank was saying with even if Axial or something goes out of business with this new HOBBICO deal going on, we're still going to get more companies coming in. And even if Axial does go down, it would be sad for me to see that. But I think Axial has been producing mostly the same vehicle over time, which I can understand. That seems like there's still a pretty good market and need for it. A lot of people are still buying these trucks, but it would definitely be interesting to see what they could do if they tried to really step it up.
Yeah.
Yep. It's just like me. I have I have over 30 cars here, and well, I used to say none of the same, but I do have two of the same now. And yeah, the Revo, the mini Revo. The reason for this is they all drive differently. So no matter what truck you use or what RC you drive, they all drive differently. So if I go to an event where I know there's going to be a certain thing, I bring a certain truck. So it's to me that's why I have different trucks. And some people were asking me, "Are you going to buy a Traxxas TRX4?" Right now, I have no reason to, because my SCX10 is a is on well,
two-speed transmission.
No, it's not the two-speed transmission. I got that on my my TF2 on links. It's on 4 links. So my SCX10 is on 4 links, and to me, there's no benefit. Yes, it's got the rocking differentials and the two-speed transmission in that. It's got a lot of features on that, but those are just toys, and toys that break down, and they've been breaking down. The servos on there is weak. I was on the trail with Chris from GCM today, and he was trying it for the first time, and he was saying, I can see where people are having trouble, because it's very easy to bind and stop that that servo that's on there. So
I watched that video thinking that you had bought the Traxxas and he was going to be driving the FJ.
I went to his house this morning to pick up my camper parts, and he goes, I was just about to head out on the trail. I look at him. I go, okay, pick 2 trucks and let's go. Like, it's funny. I took my camera and my phone out, and I'm videotaping his wall of RC. I go, this is like you're dreaming. It's like a dream. You walk in here and you go, okay, which one do I pick now? There's too many to pick from. So it was funny.
Right.
It was fun.
That's how I feel.
Each one's nicer than the next.
Pardon me?
Each one's nicer than the next, too.
Yeah, and they all perform a little different also. It's just kind of cool.
Whenever I come on here, I feel that way, because it's, you guys all have multiple rigs. I'm still just riding the one.
Yeah, I'm a bit of an addict.
Yeah, well, it took me years to get them, but like my TF2, I got really lucky with my TF2. I picked it up for $250. Like they're worth $600 with all the electronic, and I had half the electronic on it, but then the body wasn't painted. The guy just put it together and wanted to sell it. I called him up in Toronto. Guy, I'm heading there. I'm picking it up. So if you want to deposit, keep it for me, and I'm coming over. So I got really lucky on that one. And on some of my other trucks also, the only one I bought new was my SCX10 and my new Hoonigan, the Hoonicorn. Those are the only 2 I bought brand new. So I haven't bought a lot of trucks that were brand new. I buy them used, and I buy them cheap, and I fix them up.
Or you build them.
Or I build them from scratch, just like I did with my camper trailer and my E-Revo, my small E-Revo, the rat rod. Dave's going to have to show that again. Take it out of the crate and just show us. I haven't seen that in a while.
Update.
Yeah, let's have a show of hand. Who wants to see it? Oh, I got 3 hands.
Come on, Dave, turn the camera on.
Oh, he says my hand's up.
There we go.
Grant's RC.
Yeah, he's got his
I
hand.
gotta get one of those bullseye pattern mats. Seems popular.
It looks like Grant's RC is about to go. Thanks,
There
Grant.
it is, Tank.
Oh, there it is.
Here it is.
Let's see that. Let's see that. Present to everybody. Oh, there she is. Hello, little baby. Do you miss Daddy?
Screensaver.
Oh, I like pinstriping on the hood, man.
Yeah, it's that's a sticker that came with it, with the white one. It's a sticker on top. But I actually, when I taped it, I taped the black line also. So it's actually, the black line is taped, is painted underneath. So I went black, red, and white. So for the paint job.
I've only got one here right now that I can just readily grab, but I've got bunches of those pinstriping brushes. They are the best.
Oh yeah. So what are you thinking of putting in there, Dave? Are you thinking of putting that motor in there?
Yeah, this one is going in there. Sensor 13.5 turn.
Ooh.
It's a crawler motor. It's got some real strong magnets in it, though.
Cool.
How
Does
many
real
loops in
good.
the coil?
Running on a Mamba. I wanted to put that Mamba X in it, but we're gonna have issues with room.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'm gonna maybe do a Mamba Max Pro. So we're not worried about being waterproof on that guy.
Cool.
Yeah, Tank doesn't have any water hazards on his trail.
Well, I do now. It's melting, and I will be having some, so I'll have a mud bash soon.
Kind
So
of a
that's
little
gonna be fun.
swampy area you drive around in sometimes of the year too, don't you?
Yep. Yep.
I've seen your Wheelie King conversion driving around in it with your SEX 10, I think.
Yep. Yeah, and the water and the mud and things like that. So the TF2 went in the mud last year, and I forgot my winch controller in the water, and I forgot my winch controller was not waterproof. So as I was driving, I was hearing zzz, 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 and all of a sudden I saw my winch coming out. The winch line was actually coming out. I go, oh my God. Flip the truck over, unplug the winch controller, because the winch controller was right underneath the water. So it dried up and it started again. So it's a good thing I didn't blow it up.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, throw it in a bag of
This
rice.
is old,
man.
this is my old Bulldog winch casing. I got the internals
next
for
day.
it around here still, and the trim for the servo controller was off, so this thing basically vibrated itself apart. So all these little screws that held the casing together fell apart.
Wow.
So it was a good winch though.
Found on trail dead.
Yeah, like so some people were talking on the groups and saying, what's a good winch to buy? The 3 Racing is a good winch, but people have to realize that a winch is there to help your truck get out of a bind. You do have to use the power of your truck to get out also. So you got to use both. Some people are saying, well, the winch can't pull my truck by itself, or it can't. They hang it up and they say, well, the truck is too heavy, it can't pull it. A winch is not supposed to do that on a real truck. A winch is there to hold the tension and help your truck move along. So, oh, somebody posted a comment here in the chat. My first broke crawl last weekend. Yes, the winch is to assist you. So I guess Grant's RC said he had a winch and it broke on him. But yes, a winch is there to assist you, not just to pull your truck out. So
Some of them are rebuildable too.
what was that?
What
Some
kind
of
of
the winches are rebuildable.
You both talking at the same time there.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go. I was just wondering what kind of winch Grant had, because I know this this motor I have for my Bulldog winch. I'm pretty sure this Bulldog winch is still produced by Yeah Racing. If you look up the Yeah Racing winch, you can find ones that look like the old RC 4-wheel drive ones. I'm pretty sure Yeah Racing produced them and RC 4-wheel drive rebranded them.
Yeah, those little motors are the ones that RC 4-wheel drive sells for the Xenon winches too.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
What do you
internal.
think of the Integy winches?
The Integy was bad a while back, but they've turned the table. They're better now. But I never used one of their winch, so I can't really comment to see if they're good. The only thing you can do is look at the specs on them and compare them to a winch you've used before. Mind you, people lie sometime on specs, but
yeah, see, that's my problem. I haven't bought a winch before, so I'm like looking to see what is my first best winch. Like, what would I get for my first winch type thing.
Are you looking for power, or are you just looking for a functional winch?
Yeah.
I'd like it to be able to assist me out of situations.
here's my opinion on the winches. If you're gonna get your first winch, I would not go out and buy the $100 RC 4-wheel drive winch that's crazy powerful. Even if you had the money, they're really expensive. I would buy maybe a cheap winch and really just play with it, see how you like it, because I feel like I used my winch a few times. I use it a few times here and there, but there's no real comps around in my area that I need to use my winch. So when I'm out trail riding, it's just more of a pain for me to use the winch sometimes than it is to actually just push the truck or whatever. So that's kind of my opinion. I like using the winch. It's just, it becomes kind of a pain, you know, how you have to put all the wire, spool it all back up, make it all pretty again, and then getting it all back out. It just becomes work for me a little bit.
Yeah. Okay, so by going like that, what about if I just took an old servo and turned that into a winch?
Yeah, that's a good route to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's going to be stronger than buying a winch, yes. Because like on the TF2 right now in my other rig, on my TF2 and SCX10, I'm just running a $30 winch. So basically on this one also, it's just a $30 winch that's on it. And that's all I'm running on this thing. And the TF2, like a lot of people know, it's all metal. It's heavy. Yes, it can't pull the truck by itself, but it's got me out of binds, or like when the truck wants to flip, you tie it and then it brings it back. It's got me out of trouble, but it's not a strong winch. You don't just buy something cheap, try it if you like it, and then you'll find out, okay, now I need a more powerful one. Or then, okay, let's try a servo winch. So there's different things you can do.
Or a different type of controller.
Yep.
Yeah, well, here's something too. I've got a 6-channel receiver in my truck, and I've got a 8-channel radio. So I don't need to get a wireless controller, right? I can just hook it up to it. If I get a servo winch, I can just hook it to one of my 3-position switches, right?
Yeah, I think you can buy the spools. I've seen the spools for sale. You can just put on like a servo horn and then just eliminate the potentiometer inside, and you should be able to make it work just like a regular winch.
Yeah, so then I would just go like out, stop.
I think they sell a conversion kit. It's a spool plus a couple other little parts that bolt onto it, and then it goes right into your truck.
But it wouldn't. It wouldn't. Oh yeah, because then you get that drift where it. If I do it straight off the radio to the receiver, then my sometimes it'll let the line in or out depending on drift.
I think you can even buy just a separate controller for the servo winches. I think HOBBICO sells one. You just wire it up to the servo motor, I believe. I'm not really sure. I never looked into it.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different videos you can look online to how to actually convert it to a servo winch. There's a lot of people that done it. Like this is a servo winch that I have here, and it's been done, but this one is kind of special in the sense that it does have the quick release here. So if I push it in, I can actually just pull this out. So let's actually pull it out, sorry. Push or in, I can't remember. Yeah, if I push it in, I can release it. So it's kind of cool in the sense that I don't have to wait for my thing to come out. And on this winch, I also have a AOK, which is all dip, plastic dip. But AOK makes a winch controller. What's nice with this one is that I can run this on my battery. I don't have to go to my receiver. So I can run more voltage on this and make my winch even stronger. So there's a lot of little tricks you can do. Mind you, this winch is over $100. So I still didn't put it on any truck, but this one will pull my beast, no problem. I can pull at least 50 pounds with this stupid winch.
Really?
But it's over $100. Are you willing to pay that much?
So if you make one off of a servo, you'd want a pretty high torque servo then to start.
Yes. Yeah.
Can you see this? It's a winch saver, one of those little rubber fair leads that goes on the end of a winch. You draw it in and saves your winch. I just found these online. Ordered one from Gearhead.
Okay.
All all the big servos I have are ones we use on our big wings, like our 60-inch wings, and so they're high torque.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of videos on there that shows you exactly how to turn it into a servo winch. So you basically have to take it apart. You have to use glue, and there's that potentiometer, whatever that.
Potentiometer.
Yeah,
it's called a
inside that you have to glue. So there's a couple steps that you have to do. It's pretty simple. And then this one, they actually put the spool, because in your servo winch, in your winch, there's only a motor on this. The rest is all empty like this. What this guy did, he put a shaft, he put a bearing at this end, and he can put a bigger spool. It's inside. It's really cool. But other people, they put a spool on this side. So you just take a spool, and their spool is on this side when you create a servo winch. But if you're handy and crafty, you can do it this way also.
And the HOBBICO stuff is really good.
Yeah, it's just a guy here in Canada, in west of Canada, and he does that in his basement, and he's very good with electronic. He did a switch for my STX10 for my tri-LED. I got LED in there. They're tricolor. So I asked for 7-position relay switch. So I have to hit one button on my truck 7 times. So when I hit, and it keeps changing colors, so it just goes through a cycle. So he just created a relay that it goes through a cycle. The last one is off. And then when I hit it, it turns red, green, blue, yellow, and white. And so it goes through all the steps of the RGB, and there's 7 steps. Nice. It's kind of cool. And like I paid I think $30 or $35 for him to get that done, but it's custom made. You can't get that from a hobby store.
Right, Ethan, I really liked what you suggested there for the winching. You know, that gave me a lot to think about. So thanks.
No problem.
And I'm gonna let you guys go because I gotta go take Bill.
Cool. Thanks for joining.
Talk to you guys later.
Have a nice night.
And I'm glad, Tony, that you were only here for a little tiny bit.
For me?
But that was Troy leaving.
No, well, Tony said he was going to come in just for a few minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. I still got to pack up our C's in here to take with me. I'm taking my TRX4 and my SCX10.
Nice.
Good.
So we're going to be up in the mountains. So hopefully there'll be some good run spots for it. Get back into it. Get hooked again.
You're not taking any monster truck?
I might take my Tamiya Unimog.
Okay.
2-wheel drive. Little guy here. Haven't run him in a long time, so I was thinking he might just kind of be fun and different. I don't really want to take something that I'm going to break.
Okay. Yeah, when I went camping with my little guy, the Slash, that was a nice truck to bring camping. Brought 2 Slash. Well, his short course and my short course. He has a SC10 from Team Associated, and I had my my Slash. So that was a lot of fun camping.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've looked around. I might take the Seton 4x4. I don't want it to be too fast, you know, because they get on you in some of those places if you're tearing everything up.
Yeah.
So I thought maybe the ground pounder. I don't know, but this little Unimog seemed like it'd be kind of fun. Just kind of, you know how it bounces around and everything. I thought it might be fun to bounce around with it for a little bit and do something different. You know, where all these other things can tackle anything. Have something that just kind of more for just scaled driving around and kind of bouncing off of little jumps and not breaking it, you know, while I'm there. Because if I take, you know, one of my bigger monster trucks, there's a good chance I could bust it. And then I got to fix it up before the races in 2 weeks. So if I did any, I'd probably take the ground pounder. But I think I'll take the Bison and maybe this. I'll take one to break, you know.
One sacrificial RC.
Yeah. Basically. but I'm not going to try to break it. But when you're going that fast and there's fences everywhere and there's little posts or like the little rings for the fire pits, and I mean, there's just potential everywhere to make a mistake and come back in pieces. So
makes for good video.
It's not fun to fix though. Too many to fix these days.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Hard to keep up with it all. Especially now that I want to do this racing stuff and I got to actually try and tune some of them. Like I got to put a motor. One of my thoughts was actually taking the Max D and while I was there, maybe installing a motor in it. But then I got to change out all the gears and all that when I get back. So
going brushless.
Yeah, I got a Castle SV3 used.
Oh, cool.
And a snake bite body, which is awesome.
Yeah,
But
I'm paying that on Monday.
But the other side of me says maybe I won't take the monster trucks. Maybe I'll take the mud truck.
Ah, there you go.
So
Yeah, Grant's RC saying take the bison back into the wild.
to the wild. See, there you go. That's probably a good idea. I'm definitely taking the bison. I'd say that.
Cool.
But because it just is fun and straightaways and all that, because it tears up. And it's smaller. Like I thought about my Revo, but it's so big now that carrying it with me is no fun for that.
Yeah, and
Backed out.
batteries and stuff. It's a little annoying.
Yeah, but by the time I've got batteries, controllers, everything. However, the Revo does run on the same controller as the SCX-10, so I'm saving room with controllers. But no, I think I'll take the mud truck, and because there's going to be water there. I don't know if there'll be mud.
Okay.
So, maybe a little bit different mud than what we got here, which wasn't very soupy.
Cool. Dave, what are you working on? You were working on your roof?
Roof rack. Yeah, after I found out how to assemble those fuel packs, I just went ahead and mounted them to the rack.
Did Proline ever get back to you?
No, actually what you said was exactly what I ended up doing to put them on the Lex. And I'll show you.
Nice.
So he got the fuel cell from Proline and he wants to put it on his truck.
The roto packs.
Can you see that?
Yeah.
See how that's on the back of the Lexan?
Okay.
And then it holds you can take them on and off if you want just by twisting that, pulling it off and putting another one on.
I see.
Is that the TRX4G body?
No, that's the Wraith Jeep body, Proline's Jeep body for the Wraith.
Okay.
Oh, all
Oval
right.
body.
Yeah, Dave is being creative. It's going to be kind of cool what he's doing with that.
Man, the last truck you just put up some pictures of looks so good.
Thanks, Tony. It's fun to drive.
Your videos today.
Pretty
Sketch drawings.
nice.
Pooter.
So do you have that truck in there? I want to see some of the close-ups.
Scrap box. Yeah, I got it. Hold on.
That box, yeah. The body was sick. Now, were those stickers on the inside, or?
It's I called it scrap box because I got a video I'm editing of how I did it. It's actually I sat down and after RCX I took a magazine and I cut scraps out of six different magazines.
Yeah.
And then I used some resin, kind of lightly sanded the Lexan and then used resin on it and actually stuck the different, kind of like one of those serial killer letters, the chain letters they make.
Inside or outside?
It's inside.
Okay.
Yeah, because I wanted it to have a shine on it, so I did everything inside. And that way, it scratches up still. And
can you show the side of it? Flip it onto its side so we can see the side, not just the top. Yeah.
That's one side.
Dave, have you ever used this acrylic gel medium?
It's kind of like that. Might be kind of like not that particular one. No.
There's a few manufacturers. They work well with newspapers and stuff. If you want a clear,
it dries. It dry, clear, crystal clear
gloss. Yeah, crystal clear. You can get matte or gloss.
Okay. Okay.
But
So kind of like a Mod Podge, basically.
Yeah, very similar, but it's a
Very
acrylic
similar.
base.
Yeah.
It dries. It's a plastic, so it dries like a plastic.
There you go. See, the Mod Podge does, but they did not say completely waterproof with Mod Podge. So
Okay.
I wanted to make sure. I've done resin before when I made medallions for people. I put pictures on them and then coated them in resin so they were clear.
Okay.
So I kind of just applied that. That body's heavy though, but yeah, Tank knows. I was telling them about that. I was like, I'm gonna have to put a lot of weight down low because that truck is 10 pounds, over 10 pounds.
Mhm.
Wow.
But I put a lot of weight down low just so I drove it the other day and it did good. I mean, it was nice. I didn't have body pins with me and I rolled it about 3 or 4 times just to learn the suspension a bit. And then it was A-okay after that.
Yeah, that's what happens. That's why I roll mine too. Kind of learn the suspension.
Yeah, you do. You got to push your limits and then you know to back down from them, you know?
The part I don't get is the learning part.
Or the backing down.
That's the problem. That breaks my C hubs and all that. I can totally do this. Crash. Fair part, Ben.
You know, when your wheel is stuck on a rock and it can't go anywhere, stop the throttle, back out and find a different path because you're going to break something. Something has to give.
Not with
Usually
my
that's
wheels.
why I
My
leave
wheels
the
just
foot
wrap
pedals.
around it, man. They're so shot right now.
Gumby wheels.
Yeah. They just will wrap around the rim 3 times. No, but mine's usually like the height things. Like I can totally make it down that thing. I'll throttle out, you know. And I'll throttle out, but I'll just drive it straight into the bottom, you know, like and snap. But
I had a lot with that truck yesterday because of that weight. Yeah, it was that little feature on the castle setup worked good though. I used like 40% drag brake going downhill, so that way I didn't have to creep on the throttle. I could just let it roll on its own and kind of steer.
Yeah.
And I can hit a switch and switch it to 100% when I'm going uphill and climbing.
Nice.
It works like a charm on the trail, man. I mean,
Now that's just what motor are you running on it?
That's
There's no
another.
castle.
I got the I before they made the slate motors, I had got the setup from them, and I've got the 2400 kilovolt long can sensor.
Okay.
And it's the green one, and I've got it on the Mamba X, but I have it on rock race mode, and it lets it do that switch. That thing, Francois saw a video of it. It creeps very good. I mean, it's smoother than I expected. I haven't run my gray or the slate can yet, so I can't compare, but this is good enough to me. I mean, if it's any better than this, then they've done a real good job.
Nice. Yeah, I just got into the app because I didn't have anything PC or Android before, so I've just had to run mine. It's pretty much stock. I got that card, and that card is not great. But when you can hook it up to a computer and dial everything in like that, throttle curves and your drag brakes and all that, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely getting more of the castle stuff now.
Yeah.
Holmes Hobbies is the same way too.
Yeah.
They have the auxiliary cable on there.
I believe so. I'm not positive. I don't have any of the motors, but I've seen some videos where I think his was affiliated with Castle for a while.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I know a lot of them share some of that stuff. Because what? Axial runs off the Hobby Wing one? Or is that how that works?
The vent, the one that's in the Yeti can hook up to Castle Link.
Right.
Castle Link? Okay.
Yeah, the old AE2s also, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh, so I might be able to tune this sticker bomb then. That's running a Vanguard from the Yeti.
Oh, yeah, that'll hook up to Castle Link.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I need to tune that one then. So, yeah, I've got...
Another thing to add on your list.
The what?
Another task to add on your list, yeah.
Well, I finally got a PC now, so I can hook up to it. But I'm actually exporting a retro video right now. I was finishing up graphics while we were talking. So, but yeah, that the Castle Link is definitely nice.
Yeah, when you guys get a chance, go to the GCM website, well, his YouTube, and check out the video of me and him this morning crawling. So it's kind of cool because he's talking about the TRX4, and while we're trying different things, he just left the camera rolling. He didn't put music, so you actually hear us talk about the truck and different lines and different things. It's kind of neat how it is.
Cool.
Oh, he actually made the video. It's kind of cool.
Did he have the Bronco? Is that what he was running?
He was running the Bronco, yes, and I was running his blue one, his Toyota. Yeah.
So which servo doesn't he like? The steering servo or the transmission or the ones doing the diff locks?
The steering servos.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that one's pretty weak.
He found them weak.
Weaker than the axial ones that come with it, because everybody says the axial ones are weak.
Well, the TRX4 is so heavy, so it's easier to bind it and make those servos stall out. So
yeah, I'd agree with that.
I think having the open differentials, especially if you have the open differential on the front, it really there's really a lot more force on the servo, because I think I catch those front tires on rocks and things a lot, and it just kills that front end. So you can't do anything with the steering. But with the stock ready to run trail honcho we have, I definitely think the steering servo in that is stronger, or it feels stronger in that truck.
Okay.
Compared to the TRX4 for me.
Well, it's a really light truck too.
Yeah. Ours has some upgrades on it. It's got all the metal links, and I've done
You're
some
running the tactic servo?
No, it's older than that. It was one of the really original trucks.
Because the tactic servo, surprisingly, I didn't upgrade one of these monster trucks, and it's turning those big tires all right so far.
Yeah, I think those tactic servos actually do pretty good. I have that in my Axial Yeti, the Score trophy truck, and I haven't had any real issues with it, but I guess that isn't a higher speed location. So, Tony, since you own a TRX4, what do you think about the locking differentials?
I think it's amazing, honestly.
I love it.
I was just out doing that beach one, and there were so many times I would have been stuck if I hadn't been able to lock the diffs. So, I mean, you could just leave them locked all the time, but you lose other performance doing that as well. But also being able to use it to front tire pull, so you don't like flip over backwards. It's really slick. It's amazing the difference. It really, like, if you could just make videos where you just show the difference of the diffs going up an incline and just seeing where you're stuck open.
Yeah, that's what Chris was experimenting with this morning. So he was actually running it not locked, and as he was getting in trouble, he was either locking the front or locking the rear. But I don't think he ever locked the rear, but he only locked the front, and that got him out of trouble.
Yeah,
I like the challenge that it offers, and like you said, Chris was experiencing. I think I usually just run it open differentials all the time because it really helps your steering radius, and it makes obstacles more challenging, which is a lot more fun for me. And it seems like as soon as I lock that front differential, I can get out of whatever I seem to have gotten myself into. And so really, I absolutely love them. I wish I could get them in all my trucks.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and you can upgrade to them. There's people that make them, but it's a game changer for sure in the whole way that it works, especially with the slick dirt that I was on. The difference to be able to just have traction to all four was just amazing. So
I really like the way that Traxxas has the differentials inside, like engineered and designed they seem to be really tough, and I haven't really seen where there might be a really obvious breaking point for them. I mean, I never run my trucks that hard, but I've seen people run them really hard. Have you seen Exo Caged RC? He had his TRX4 running, I think, 60 miles an hour at one point in time, and he had no issues with the differentials on him at all.
What's his name? The guy over in like Britain or wherever, running 6S on it.
Yeah.
Who is that guy?
Kevin Talbot.
Oh,
Talbot, yeah, Kevin Talbot. Man, that guy's nuts. He's awesome.
Yeah.
He's abused his.
Oh yeah, and it's holding up.
It's totally holding up. And but I mean, I'd take mine. I you know, you think about a Defender. I'm like, this is Dakar time, baby. Like, let's put it in second and let's jump this thing. So the suspension's pretty all right on it, and it looks really cool going over like little jumps like a Dakar truck would. It's just so cool. I still haven't edited that video I shot last October or August or whatever, where I was just going nuts and these on this trail course, just jumping it. And
on an axial, are they locked all the time, or are they all open?
Yeah, they're spooled usually. I believe you can put open differentials in the old original SCX10 axles, like out of the Yeti. Yeah. You could use a front differential from that and put it in there. I've seen that done.
Well, I have the gears right here sitting on my bench. So here's the little spider gear that goes in there. The reason I have these is because when I built my rat rod for the first time, I wanted to be a drag racer. So basically, I did not want the rear to be locked. So I tried unlocking it to see if it gave me a big difference. But after it didn't really make me a big difference because the front end was so heavy. So I locked it back up. So now it's back lock. It's got a last locker on there from GCM Racing. So I just took it out. But yeah, the SCX10, you can buy the AX10 gears and they fit right in there. You take that cross out of there. Oh, here's a cross. I have a few of them here. You take this out.
Okay.
And you replace it with these.
Locker, yep. Yeah, that's what comes in the SMT10s also, the open diffs.
Yep. And then your SCX10 is going to be unlocked. But I find my SCX10, the SCX10, the first version, ever since I put the Dinky RC Pro steering mod on it, night and day. Like, I can turn on a dime with that. I probably can turn faster or better than a TRX4.
Is that the Panhard one or no?
What do you mean the Panhard?
How's the setup on the steering for it?
I do have a Panhard on mine right now, yes.
Okay.
But it's the steering knuckles. You change the knuckle and the carrier, and it's the Dinky RC carrier and knuckle. And it gives you that 8-degree incline. So when you're turning from the center of the tire instead of from the inside of the tire. And on top of that, it gives me a wide turning radius, just like the new SCX10.
45 degrees. Yep.
Yeah. The what?
It's 45 degree on the new one.
45 degree, yeah.
Yep.
So it's just crazy. It's just nuts. And on top of that, when I use that and I turn on my dig, I turn on the dime. And also when I leave my dig and I turn on freewheel, in other words, my rear is not locked, it's just freewheeling. There's so many things I can do now with my SCX10 because of the dig and because I got that. It's a complete different rig. I can't wait to try it this year more. So it's fun.
Yeah,
it was a $95 Canadian upgrade, but to me it was worth it.
That fits right on the old AX10 transmission, the dig setup.
Yeah, well, you do need the case for the Wraith transmission case.
I see.
But all the gear, what I did is I bought the case and I bought the kit, and all the gears for the SCX10 fit into the case for the case for the Wraith transmission. So it's very easy conversion to do. And then you buy a small servo, put it on there, just make sure you have enough channel on your radio to turn it on and off, and it's a fun thing to have. Because when you're on the rock and you're trying to go down, you don't rely on your dig to stop you, on your drag brake to stop you. You just lock your rear wheel, and then you can really go down and just like use your front wheel and bring you down the hill. It's really neat how it works.
Gotcha. Yeah, it seems. I think certain crawlers would be handy for on the rocks, with it for tight corners and stuff too.
Yeah. Steve Declark is up on the chat. He says, "What's up, everyone?" And when we were talking about servo, he says he has a tactic servo in both his monster truck.
Yep, so do I. The stock ones still.
Yeah.
I do have a little heavier grade tactic. It's a TX55. I forget what the actual gram rating is. It's just a little bit stronger. I put in my SCX10.
I just picked up this Power HD for the Winnebago. So that one is the LW 20MG. So that's the waterproof one. So that one's going into the Winnebago.
Nice. What'd you call it? The Funnebago?
the Funnebago?
Nice.
Vennebago.
Gotcha.
Cool. Okay, guys, we've been on for 2 hours. I'm going to end the broadcast. Thanks for the guy that are actually watching. Thank you all for joining. I think we were 9 tonight, so it was awesome. Thanks for joining and chit-chatting. I'm going to stop the broadcast. We're going to keep talking for a little bit. That's the benefit of being in the broadcast. So thanks for joining, guys. Thank you all there. And we'll see you next time. Guys, share this video. Yeah, Steve, you're late. You just joined and now we're leaving. Sorry. So thanks for joining. Share this video and give me a thumbs up, and we'll see you next week.